Welcome to Kings of Kimuras, your one-stop podcast for everything from mats to the stars. Join us as we dive into the heart of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, explore the thrills of MMA, and groove to the beats of music. But that's not all. We're also venturing into the unknown, discussing aliens and the mysteries of the cosmos. And of course, we'll be shooting the breeze, sharing stories, and laughs along the way. Get ready for a wild ride from a universe of topics. Strap in and prepare to explore the world of BJJ, MMA, music, aliens, and more. Let's roll.
All right, guys, welcome to the Kings of Kimura podcast with myself, Tony Trammell, and
Dominic Ramos.
And we're just going to talk about some of the things that we like, which obviously is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We're going to cover quite a bit of topics on this. So let's go ahead and get started with the guys from ADCC. We've seen a couple of the trials already take place. Obviously, some of the guys from like Australia had some great performances. How do you feel that those guys match up with, let's say, like guys from Brazil or guys from North America?
Yeah, I think as you see jiu-jitsu grow worldwide, you're going to see so many tough guys come out from pretty much all over the world. With access to things like BJJ Fanatics, the access to information now is greater than it's ever been. You know, when I started jiu-jitsu, really the only source that you had was like Budo videos, or you would just have to really look online and actually buy physical copies of DVDs. I know when you started that you said you had like a whole book of stuff.
Yeah, it was like books. There were definitely some DVDs and stuff, you know, like fortunately I started training at the age of like there were DVDs and not VHS, but
right.
I know a lot of guys that would talk about, like Kyle Terra, I had a conversation with him. I go, what did you do when you went to, like when you were trying to learn techniques? He's like, well, I had to go to a tournament. And then if somebody had enough money to afford a camcorder, they would record the guys that they like to watch. And then you could go back and break down the videos. But most of the time, you were not learning from video. It was, you look in a book and you try to figure out exactly what the guy's doing between the photos.
That's so
but
crazy.
Now with the age of technology, like you said, flow grappling, BJJ Fanatics, you can literally learn from anybody. So a lot of these guys in other countries that don't necessarily have the best instructors can always like pick things up from the best guys in the world.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like, I mean, the sport is booming now. I mean, in the last 10 years, the sport has grown like exponentially, and it keeps growing exponentially every year. All these events, they only get tougher. The athletes only get more professional. So I think anybody in the world now can go to a ADCC and do well. You know, if they're training hard, if they're doing the right things.
Yeah.
Pretty much anybody can go out there and perform well. I think that's the beautiful part about jiu-jitsu as well, is it's pretty much wide open, you know. And I've heard a lot of even MMA fighters say that, where I think Sean Strickland said that, right? It's like anybody can be a UFC champion if you're willing to put yourself through the training, if you're willing to humble yourself and let your ego go. Like you can do basically anything.
Yeah, for sure. Who do you think out of the guys in that Oceanic Trials has like the best chance of performing well at ADCC? I'm not going to say when, because you know a lot of the guys are like first time winners of that event, except for Isaac. But you know, which one of those guys do you feel like is one of the best performers out of there? I mean, a lot of those guys are like kind of unknown, really. You know, like I mean, they're not. Sure. We know a lot of the guys that have done that Oceanic Trial just because they come here and train in Texas.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, pretty much all of them. I mean, the big ones that come to my mind are Owen Jones, Joseph Chen, and Isaac Michel, and they've all come and trained in Austin.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's what I really like about B Team too, is they attract guys from all over the world. So
yeah, I feel like that guy Kenta probably has like a really
Kenta as
good
well.
opportunity to perform in ADCC. You know, obviously this is his second time winning the trials, but he obviously did great last time. But do you feel like he goes further in Worlds this time?
Yeah, I think so. I think Kenta is getting like way more well-rounded. His stand-up is definitely like, I mean, he took down JT Torres. You don't take down JT unless your stand-up's really, really good, you know? So I definitely think he has a good chance. But he is in the same weight class as Dante, and him and Dante just had a match, and Dante kind of dominated, but Dante has been on a roll. I think he's a real sleeper at that. And it's crazy to say that he's a sleeper because, like, you hear him get talked about now a lot more, but, I mean, even a few years ago, he was really, really good, like, taking silver at Worlds. I know he lost to, like, Gary Tonin a couple ADCCs ago, but he's gotten so much better since then that I don't really see... maybe Cade or Mika giving him like a really tough match, but on any of those other guys, I think Dante matches up really well with.
The first time that I heard of Dante, I was training with a guy named what is it, Gutenberg or
Gutenberg.
Yeah,
Pereira.
he's now part of AOJ, but at that time he was GF team, and he was telling me, man, you need to sponsor this guy. This guy's, he's going to be a hammer someday. You know, he's a small guy, but even then, I think he was a purple belt or brown belt, but he was giving, you know, this ultra heavyweight problems in training. Like, he was seeing this guy was going to be that good.
He just won super heavyweight no-gi.
Yeah.
What was it, Europeans? Or, like, that is crazy. And he even said it. He's like, who else does that? And I'm just like, man, nobody does that. Like, I think... like Cade and Mika could definitely, because I think those are the only two guys that are ranked above him. I think they could do something like go into a heavier weight class and win. But I know Cade is with one FC, and I think, is Mika still banned IBJJF, or?
I have no clue, but I would imagine he's not even going to compete IBJJF.
Yeah,
you know,
for
like,
sure.
There's
the ADCC only.
Yeah, I would. He's going to stick to those events that bring money, and IBJJF are so far behind the times that they just don't provide that to professional athletes. You're still, as a professional athlete, you're paying them to be a part of their association and paying to compete in their event.
For sure. And the only ones that really pay out are like ones you get invited to, right? Like the GPs and the IBJJF crown. Those guys got paid, but I mean, like, that's a very select number of guys that are getting paid. Even, I mean, it's only, I say only 5,000, but that's still pretty good. That's pretty good for the US dollar, but still, when you compare it to how much some of these other competitors are making, it, like, for who's number one and stuff, it's like, it doesn't really add up.
Yeah, who even knows what somebody's making for who's number one? I guarantee you there's not an even across the board payment. It's more of a, like, how much clout do you have? You know, it's not even like how good you are. It's like, how much clout do you have? How much can you bring to this show?
Got to bring those followers, man. You got to bring the eyes to the event, you know.
Let's talk about somebody in that 99 plus that won that Oceanic Trials, and that's Josh Saunders. He's not a traditional jiu-jitsu guy. He comes from, I think, a rugby background, or like the Aussie rules or something like that.
Yeah.
But he's a giant-ass guy, and he's very athletic, obviously. But I watched the finals match against that Ricky Lusney, I think it was. And they had a solid back and forth. There were like some solid throws that happened off the mat. Nothing that, like, honestly, I wasn't like too impressed with like anything that happened for either one of them to win the match. It seemed like the only time something active happened was when it was so far out of bounds that there was a good chance that they were going to get reset.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That guy, that guy Saunders, I know Craig was talking about him. He was like, he'll go to a local tournament and suplex like a 30-year-old single dad.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Everybody gets the same treatment. And, you know,
I could, like, Nicky Rod is the same way, right? Yeah. Like, there's that video of him body locking that guy and, like, jumping up with him. I was like, bro, that guy's spine has probably not been the same since that match.
I think it was the trials of, like, 2018 where Nicky Rod won the first trials on the East Coast, and it was held in some gym in
and
high
that
school.
huge guy, right?
And
That
big giant guy, and he just like manhandled this guy. I feel like those two guys are very similar in the way that they approach jiu-jitsu, where it's they're gonna smash anybody that's in front of them. They don't care how big or how small you are.
I'd like to see that matchup, and that honestly could have. That's a good chance of that happening because Mickey Rod's a silver medalist and Saunders won trials. And I think in the last ADCC, you saw that a lot, right? Whereas like last year's silver medalist or like last year's bronze medalist against a trials winner.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, this is his second time to win trials.
Yeah,
And
that's right. He's been before.
I don't even remember him competing in ADCC. I know he was there because I looked at it afterwards.
Right.
But I don't like it wasn't.
I don't even.
He wasn't
remember
even
who
on my
fought.
radar until I watched the Oceanic trials, and then obviously he's like all over Instagram, like putting this like coaching thing that he has of like not learning techniques or something. It's
Right. It's
like learning
I know
skills.
Kit Dale. I know Kit Dale does something similar where he's like learning through like games.
Sure,
stuff.
and that's very similar to anybody that does situational training. You have like
yeah.
an objective. It's not like just a game. Like people hear game, they're like, "Oh, we're like playing dodgeball."
Yeah.
No, it's
Like freeze tag, dude.
You're set in a position with a goal, and you have to, reach that goal in order to win, right? And that's there's each person has an objective, and that's I think what people mean when they say learn through games.
Right. You break it down into very specific situations like turtle, front headlock, dogfight. And honestly, those three right there are probably going to be where lots of matches are dictated at, especially at ADCC, because I was watching Cade's semifinal with PJ, and they were getting to that position a lot. Dogfight, front headlock, turtle. Just because Cade's wrestling comparatively to PJ's is just not as good. PJ is an incredible wrestler, and Cade still won the match because he just out-scrambled him in those positions like dogfight and front headlock. Cade was a lot more creative, and I think he caught him in an arm bar from that dogfight. So
at the lower weight classes, and when I say lower, I'm talking like I would say like the 88 kilogram and below. The younger you are, the better chance you have of winning your match because it's
sure.
not like obviously it's skill, but it's also the ability to push the pace.
Yeah,
if you
absolutely.
if you don't have that gas tank to push the pace, you probably didn't win a trials in the first place. But secondly, like you're not going to win a worlds. You're probably not going to win a match or score a point.
Right. If you're neglecting that strength and conditioning aspect, you're just gonna be feed for the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
You have to take it. I mean, it is the Olympics for no-gi, so you got to treat it like you're really training for the Olympics.
Sure. So the guys that won the North American East Coast, who do you think out of those guys has the best chance to perform well?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Dorian has really good potential to go deep in that tournament because of his stand-up game, and also his passing pressure looked really good too. I mean, anytime a person would try to engage in any kind of offense, he would immediately break and then try to get to an angle, and like kind of push his way into the inside position. So I think he has a really good chance of doing well.
This is his first time doing trials ever.
Yeah.
How old is he? 17, 18?
Yeah, I think he's like 18.
That's crazy to think of how good these guys are getting. But obviously he's trained almost his entire life. I did see a photo of him and Craig together when Craig was a little kid. But when Dorian was much smaller, they like took a photo together. I guess they were training. And, now he's probably giving Craig a hard role, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, Craig's just like probably so much bigger than him that he probably just gets a hold of him and doesn't let him move.
There is a
Craig's
video
pretty
of
good
those
at
two
that.
guys training together on their YouTube, on the B Team YouTube channel. And obviously Craig does Craig stuff where he does jiu-jitsu that shouldn't work against some people, but Dorian is like holding his own for sure,
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, he's definitely versed in these positions. It's just Craig thinks so far outside of the box, and when he does something, like when he came for that seminar and he body locked me, body lock pass, I literally felt immobilized.
Yeah.
Like my hips were completely shut down. I was like, this is the tightest body lock I've ever experienced in my life. Like just because of the mechanics and just how strong he is. It's like, whoa, this feels different. This is way different.
Yeah, we got another guy at 99 kilogram, Big Dan.
Big Dan.
I wish I could remember like what it is that the guys, when you fight your own teammate, is it
right?
Second round, third round? I'm not sure. But I know that
I think it's second round.
They don't put them on different sides of the bracket for sure.
Yeah, they put them on the same side.
Yeah,
to limit the, there's that whole controversy with Drysdale and Galvao.
Yeah,
where they were like Galvao threw the match for Drysdale, and
even though they claimed that it wasn't right, it was clearly a fix.
I don't know.
Go back
if you
and
watch the
that match.
If you watch Andre's other matches, like this is the main argument for anybody who's like bringing up that is if you watch Galvao's matches before the Drysdale match, he looks like a completely different guy. Like his style is completely different. He's not attacking Drysdale at the same pace. Like, yeah, they did train together, but when it's a competition, I don't care if y'all have been training partners your whole life. Like, you're gonna put the pace on the guy, no matter what. And so, he just didn't do that, and people were like, "That's kind of suspicious."
And that was in the final, right?
I think so. Yeah, that was the weight class final.
So let's say you're Andre Galvao, right?
Or semifinal,
and
maybe.
You're competing against somebody that you know. What would it take for you to throw ADCC's final match? How much money are we talking?
You're gonna have to give me some of the purse, man. You're gonna have to cut me a little bit.
But I think that even the money is not as valuable as having that win.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Drysdale has probably like stacked his career off of that. Like, I'm an ADCC winner, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And he won. He's double golded, right? He won weight class and absolute,
right? And there's not a lot of people that have done that, and I feel like you kind of like do yourself a disservice. And that guy, I mean, like Drysdale's had kind of like a checkered past when it comes to like competing clean. And,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I remember many times in like the UFC, he like popped for that. With the ADCC, there's like there's no rule against taking any performance enhancing supplement. But I feel like
Wagner Rocha.
Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna do something where you're gonna throw a match, you're probably gonna have like other things in your life where you're like cheating as well too, right?
Oh,
you're like
yeah,
willing
for
to
sure.
like do things to get ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a layer to that as well. I mean, it all adds up, Is there any like concrete evidence? Will Galvao ever admit to it? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But you can look at the statistics, look at the numbers, and be like, okay, there's something's not like adding up here,
Yeah. What do you think about the matchup between Gordon and Big Dan?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, is it worth trying to like throw the match? I think if you're Big Dan, you just got to go after him like you would go after anybody else. Try to work your A game. Like obviously they train together all the time, but you just got to bring it to him. Like you can't hold back. You got to just go right after him. And if you end up getting submitted, okay, well, yes, at least your teammate is gonna go on and win it. But
yeah.
I mean, since it's Gordon, Gordon's not going to hold back. So if you come in even holding back a little bit, he's going to take your lunch.
Yeah, and I feel like Dan is past that part where he would kind of like get stuck in a position and almost quit, like you saw that against that Tackett match that was like...
Yeah, he just...
you don't really see that from him anymore. He's kind of like got himself collected, I feel like,
Yeah, for sure.
Now,
for sure.
If what is that? Luke Griffith. He obviously hasn't won a trials, but there's still the African trials.
Was he minus 99 last time?
I don't know, but he's pretty big. I can't imagine him hitting minus 99. He's been competing at ultra heavyweight and IBJJF this year, which is 220 plus.
Huge at Nogi Worlds.
Yeah.
Huge. I was like, dude. talking about some absolute. Nah, bro. I'm not doing no absolute with this guy in the
Yeah,
weight
the
class.
guy's a little big, honestly. I feel like
See
you know,
him lift that dude up. I'm like, you want that to be me? Nah, man.
Yeah.
I'm good.
yeah.
I'll take my silver medal. I'll go get some acai and I'll watch y'all go. It's all good.
So those are really the only trials that have happened so far, right? Is the European, the Asian, Pacific, and the East Coast.
Yes.
We still have like multiple more trials.
Yeah, we got still got a lot of time, and we got a lot of names that are gonna pop up.
Yeah, and we've got the the West Coast trials coming up,
West Coast.
which is
I'll
going to
be doing that as well. Mine is
Las
77. Let's get it. Let's get it, man. I love competing at the trials. It's such a sick atmosphere to compete in. Like, it's, people like take it more serious. When you go to like a jiu-jitsu world league, it's not as serious. We're here to get reps. We're here to get competition experience, but it's not like a ADCC trials where people are rolling off the mat. People are going crazy. Like, you hit some crazy submission, crazy move, people are going nuts. And people only keep getting more nuts as the deeper you get into the tournament. Like, the energy just stays between the 2 days. It's awesome. I love it.
So let's look at that Europe and Middle East and African Championship, which happened last year. We've got at the 77, we've got Joseph Chin winning that event.
Yeah, dude. What a stud. He's coming here and trained. I've trained with him a few times at B Team. That's my guy, man. I really like his approach. He's very even Nicky, right? He's like a very unassuming kid, but when he starts to roll, man, it's like totally different. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde almost.
So it looks like Luke did win that -99 for that African championship already.
Yeah. Okay.
So they won't have three guys in that division, but
yeah, he'll do well at that. He lost to Yuri in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty tough match for ADCC rules. So Yuri's got a really good style for that rule set.
it's super aggressive. I won't say like anti-jiu-jitsu, but he's definitely like shuts down everything that somebody tries to throw at him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a very, he is a little bit anti-jitsu, a little bit cagey, but it wins him matches. He turns it on when he needs to, and he finds a way to win. That's what champions do.
What do you think about Owen Jones? I know there was some back and forth between him and the guy that placed second at East Coast. What was the guy's name? He had a match against him on Who's Number One.
One of
the guys that trains at New Wave.
Right. Man, I can't remember.
The controversy basically was that. So the guy was saying that Owen had won a European trials, and that guys that win European trials can't even beat a second place guy.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Dominic Mejia.
That's it.
Yeah.
And Owen went out there and beat him, right? I think he tapped him in the event.
I don't think he submitted him, but he definitely
dominated the event.
He definitely took it to him.
But I feel like his. The thing in the 66 that I've seen is speaking from firsthand experience of watching Tanquinho compete and win that event, is you have to be physical. And I feel like that's one thing that Owen doesn't have yet because he's a young guy. He doesn't have that strength and conditioning down. And
right.
For any of these divisions, it doesn't matter which one they are. At this point in grappling, you have to do strength and conditioning.
Yeah, you have to be a pro athlete. That's really what it comes down to. So many guys now are taking it more serious, and that'll only help grow the sport, and the guys who kind of let their ego get in the way, like, oh, I can win a match without having to do strength and conditioning. Sure, you might win your first match, but then when you get a stud in the next match and then a stud in the next match, are you going to keep up with these guys who have been putting the time in to condition themselves and stay at this tournament all day? Because you could come in and roll, like do an open mat for an hour and a half and feel really good. But when you have those long breaks in between, when you start to get cold again, then you have to warm back up. It's a very different dynamic, you know. When you're rolling and you're just constantly going, you can stay warm, but when you're competing, it's a whole different animal. If you're not well conditioned and not ready to go that whole day, you're gonna fall so far behind. You might not make it out of the second round.
You got to have a game plan for when you're off the mat. It just can't be, you know, you're there and you're just sitting and waiting for your next match. I feel like you almost have to go and like prepare yourself.
You have to actively recover.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like
In between.
massage guns, stretch, get some electrolytes, food back in you. I mean, we went through that at the East Coast trials. You know, like before my match with Ernesto Rivera, I was like not feeling the greatest. Like the weight cut was kind of like getting to me a little bit, but we just learned after that. Okay, in between these matches, we have to prioritize getting electrolytes, getting water back in, getting some carbs, stretching out, and making sure we're loose and warm and ready to go again. You know,
yeah, you almost like don't want to stop the sweat, so you have to keep putting fluids in, and like you said, put carbohydrates in so your body can keep burning and stay warm, which it's sometimes is difficult to do. You know, if you're
absolutely
exhausted from competing, the last thing you want to do is like take some food in, or you know, I even know for me during training, is sometimes I don't feel like drinking water because then now my body is like trying to break down this water while I'm training.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely. Sometimes I just kind of forget to drink water. Or like I'll go and I'll take a drink of like the yerba mate or like a little like, dude, grab the water. What are you doing trying to drink an energy drink between rounds? Are you a psychopath?
Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to discuss some of the Mikey Musumeci rants online.
The rants, the infamous.
All right, we'll be right back. Hey guys, Tony Trammell of Corvo Martial Arts. I wanted to let you know about this special one-time opportunity on March 1st at 6:30 p.m. We're having Justin J. Flo Flores come out. If you don't know who he is, he's coached such athletes as Ronda Rousey. He's also worked with the USA Judo team. He's a D1 wrestler and a Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So make sure you get signed up. Go to corvoma.com to sign up and save. Prices are going to go up each week, so make sure you tune in and get signed up. All right, we're back. So let's get into it. We're going to talk about Mikey and his rants online. I don't really know this influencer, but the guy's like a streamer.
Yeah,
and
so
he's very
this guy
popular online.
Yeah, this guy Sneeko, he's he's gotten pretty popular. He's kind of in that same realm category of like the red pill Sigma male kind of guys, you know. Maybe a little bit misogynistic in some people's eyes. He's just a controversial guy all around. But yeah, he was reacting to Mikey hitting the Aoki lock on Shinya Aoki, and basically was like, you know, saying that people who do jiu-jitsu are autistic and like.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, listen, okay. He kind of has a point there. I mean, if you look at any of the people who won trials, a little bit off. But, yeah, I mean, he's basically just, like, talking shit and, like, you know, obviously talking shit on butt scooters, like, you know, how people usually do who are not familiar with grappling rules. Like, listen, dude, if you don't want to see that, just watch MMA. You're watching submission grappling. That's part of the game. You don't understand it or you think it's kind of silly, well, try to educate yourself before you talk shit, you know?
Yeah, I saw a video today of Keenan kind of clapping back at Mikey about it, and I kind of like agree with him in the sense of
this guy's just talking. Like, look at this guy. If
somebody is like talking like that, I don't know if he's necessarily bullying. Like his whole...
it's like cyberbullying, right? And if you don't like it, just turn your laptop off.
And he's like making fun of the situation where Mikey kind of takes it personal.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like people that take it personal, you know, they get too caught up in worrying about what other people are saying anyway. You know, like live your life. Don't worry about some dude that you never met before saying, you know, it looks fucking stupid. I agree. It does look stupid sometimes. But if you're the one that's on the bottom, you know, like there's a game plan there, right? You're not just like doing this for no reason. It kind of like brings me to the MMA guys that like have the matches against jiu-jitsu guys, and they're like, "Hey man, stand up.
Aljamain Sterling.
Let me take you down." But it's a grappling match. It would be different if there was some rule set where they're like, "Hey, you can't pull guard."
Right,
you know?
right. Yeah,
Which
like
I think
that.
a lot of jiu-jitsu guys probably wouldn't compete in that rule set, and I think
most
that's
definitely.
why ADCC rule set is the best, because it allows both things to happen, and you have
absolutely.
to. You should have some wrestling, but you don't have to be a D1 wrestler, you know. And
No, I think you should have stand-up positions in the game plan, like dogfight. You can roll to the legs from dogfight.
yeah,
So if a guy's trying to take you down, you force the whizzer, you get the hands to the floor, and then you can roll for the legs, or you can initiate a scramble and then safely pull guard without getting a negative. So it has to be, definitely has to have aspects of your game where your stand-up leads into your leg locks, you know, but like you said, you don't have to be a D1 wrestler. And in fact, a lot of those guys who compete get stuck in positions like dogfight or front headlock or turtle, and they're not used to the attacks that guys can do from those positions or the reversals. And so then they get caught in things like that rolling knee bar or rolling leg lock entries.
but in my experience training with MMA guys, it's an anti-jiu-jitsu game, right?
Oh, yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
a very much like I'm okay staying in the close guard, keeping my hips wide.
Sorry, Fernie.
But they, you know, they look for like very limited options on what they're trying to do. You know, they're
Right. It's very
most of the guys
cut
are
and
not
dry.
trying to advance their game to like understanding of leg locks or transitions of submissions. They're more looking for positional controls in order to land strikes.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
That's great. I think if you're an MMA fighter, but when you do jiu-jitsu, I feel like you should be like doing more things. Almost like if you do jiu-jitsu, you should put yourself in the worst position,
Right,
so that you
absolutely.
get better in those, instead of like I'm only going to stay in your close guard, or like I'm only going to back away.
Like, look at Volk training with Craig. He starts in the worst positions.
Yeah.
Craig's like pretty much on his back, and they're against the fence or against the wall, and he has to work from there. And that's why he got so good at that counter grappling. You saw it with his first fight against Islam. He was like, not only was he not getting taken down, he's almost reversing positions and making Islam completely disengage. And even when Islam was on his back, he was still like under no threat of submission at all.
Yeah.
He just was airtight with his defense. And that's what you have to do. I mean, even as a jiu-jitsu guy, like your defense has to come first. You have to be able to defend leg locks, defend arm locks, triangles, strangles, defend positions, being able to get out of pins. Like all that stuff has to be airtight, because sometimes you might get put in a position against a guy where that's his specialty, and if you can't get out, then you're cooked. You're stuck on the bottom.
Well, and that goes back to Mikey, right? He has like a real specialty lately of like attacking the leg locks. I don't know what he stands to gain from beating the streamer. You know, the guy is not a professional athlete, is he? I mean, he's
no. So like his thing is he's kind of in that influencer realm. So like the influencer boxing has been kind of like blown up since Jake Paul and stuff,
which could be potentially fixed, right? I mean, we're like
for sure
finding that out. I mean, surprise, right?
Yeah, surprise, man. So yeah, he's kind of in that same realm, and he's like been training boxing or whatever. But
like
his like build, I was looking at some pictures online of like him sparring and stuff. Dude, this guy has like the worst build of all time. He tries to like flex, but he only like flexes his triceps and his shoulders. Like he doesn't show anything else. And listen, when you're a skinny guy and you're shredded, that's probably gonna look really good. It's like a skinny guy with abs.
So you're saying
It's
he
not
has the
impressive.
body of a teenage vegan?
Yeah, Nico the teenage vegan, man. That's who he is. Like, he's just a troll online. And if you let guys like that get in your head, then like they won. You know, because the guy obviously will never fight you, and he's just talking shit online. So if you take it personal, it's like, come on, dude.
So let's. At this point, Mikey has threatened to beat this guy up. So who is doing more internet bullying now?
Right.
You know, which one of these two is doing more?
Well, it's like if a bully's just like constantly harassing you, just like ignore them. Give them no power. Like if you give their words zero power, then they don't win. They just keep talking, and it's pretty much like they're talking to themselves, right? So
yeah, it would be different if he was attacking his family or something, but he's literally attacking Mikey competing at the highest level, doing like
okay,
beating a guy with his own move,
yeah, and a guy who is very very competitive and has been competitive for like longer than Sneeko has even been relevant, you know? And so it's just, it's like pretty silly. I would never let an influencer get to my head like that. I'd be like, listen, dude, you can come by the gym anytime. I don't even would want to compete against you because on a competition mat, you stand 0 chance. Come to the gym. Let's get some rolls in. I'll go 20%, if that. And let's see if you can do anything against me. I'll go for the embarrassment factor. Because, if you go out and you just smoke them quick, it's like, okay, that's kind of expected. But if they come into like the training room or something like that, first, I'll have more respect for that person. Like anybody who's willing to come in and put themselves through that, you got respect. But respectfully, you got to get humbled.
Yeah, I think it's worse to come in and like be slowly smashed, right? Like everything that you do is like completely shut down instead of some guy going like spaz mode on you and tapping you out 100 times. It's way more disheartening to be like getting crushed for 5 minutes and never get tapped out.
That's what you hear. So many people when they come into jiu-jitsu and they stay for a long time, you ask them like, how's your experience training at first, and they go, horrible, man. I was getting smashed every day. It felt like people weren't trying, and they were controlling me on the ground. And that's like the beautiful part about jiu-jitsu is you can use relatively little effort and have maximal results. You can be 170 pounds and hold a guy down who's 230 pounds. If you know where to distribute your weight and you know where to place yourself and the different wedges, controls you can use, man, even a guy who's 230, even if they end up getting you off once, you put yourself back in that position and they just continue to waste energy. Yep. It's exactly what we want.
Yeah, my very first class, I got to roll. The place that I went to was like an MMA school, and I was for sure that I was going to tap somebody out.
I'm going to do it.
I had been watching UFC pretty regularly. I think it was like up to like probably like 40 or something, UFC 40, 50. But I was also watching this Submissions 101. The guy was like one of the first guys I ever remember that was putting instructionals out on YouTube. And he still has a page, but he was doing like advanced 10th Planet techniques. And I think he was a purple belt or something at that time from Canada. But I watched all these techniques and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go in there and like slap triangles on people and finish them.
I'm the triangle master.
I went in, I had my first roll, and I remember like putting a dude in a triangle and then thinking like at some point he's going to tap. But I didn't understand all the details of how to finish a triangle.
Like, I got my legs locked around his head and arm.
This is perfect. Knowing me, it was probably like a reverse triangle or like I just had his head in there or something. But I definitely didn't tap anybody my first class. I don't know how long it was before I tapped somebody, but it definitely wasn't the first day.
Absolutely was not the first
I've
class.
had people come in here and tell me, man, for the first month, every day I came in and trained, I thought I was going to tap you out. I'm like, did you never train before? This is like your first time ever coming, right? And they're like, yeah. But I was for sure, because I was athletic, that I was going to win. I'm like, man, you're delusional.
Yeah, you got some of that delusion in you, buddy. No, I mean, even one of the guys, I saw one of his posts on Instagram. He was like, his old gym had closed down. And he came in and was like thinking he was going to do really well because he had some wrestling experience, and then just got completely dominated. And it's like a very humbling experience.
I think some of that too, when people, because we've had people come in here like, man, you guys are so high level. And then I go and train somewhere else and everybody feels the same. I think some of that is just that mental side of things where you're like, you don't really know anybody and you're not too confident in your own techniques.
Right,
so you feel like, oh shit, everybody here is way better than the last place. And I'm not saying that's not the case. If you're going to train somewhere, obviously come train here.
Yeah, obviously. Come on.
But I can say that I travel, and when I travel, every person that I ever train with feels good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
I'm not,
Absolutely.
maybe I'm not going to the places where people suck. And if you have a gym like that, invite me out so I can feel better about myself.
Yeah, for the ego boost I need.
For sure, all the places I've ever been, there's more than a handful of people there that
take it serious,
Yeah.
you know, and like we were saying right at the start, there's so much access to information that you're going to get more guys that are training at a gym you've never heard of before and are going to be tough, you know, like some random purple belt guy's going to come in. You're like, dang, this guy's like, he's strong, he's athletic. Like you can tell he definitely knows his stuff. And, yeah, there's a little bit of like when you go to a new place, you don't want to like go ham or like show your whole game right away. You kind of want to like figure people out a little bit, and you know, you obviously don't want to go in there and just like start crushing everybody, because then that's when the mat enforcer, you know, you alert the mat enforcer, that little spider sense starts tingling, and then they come and wreck you.
Yeah.
So
I go train at other places, and I would rather people tap me out for like the first 2 or 3 rounds so I can see what everybody does.
yeah,
And
exactly.
before I'm like, okay, now it's my turn to attack. You know?
Yeah, now it's my turn.
And really, you can't judge somebody on how they look with jiu-jitsu. You know,
Right,
You could
absolutely
like
not.
roll with a guy that's like, you know, obviously looks like Mikey Musumeci, right?
Very
and the guy can
unassuming
destroy you, and then you roll with a guy that's 300 pounds and is like horrible at jiu-jitsu. You know?
Yeah,
So
it has
it
no
doesn't really
technique.
matter of body type or size. You just cannot judge anybody.
Yeah, no. Perfect example. A guy who used to train here. He started, and I didn't know this till after I had rolled with him. But he started with weightlifting, like he was strongman and like doing all this weightlifting stuff. And I rolled with him like, oh, this guy, he's a blue belt, but well, we'll see. And I pulled guard, and right away he hits me with like a fast knee cut. I was like, whoa, I did not see that coming, man. And it was tight. Like he got those grips, and he just like held me there for a second, and I was like, whoa, what the this guy knee cut me so fast.
Yeah.
I gotta like get my guard back now. So yeah, if you come into a gym and you come in with your ego and you think you're like the baddest dude on the planet, I mean, more power to you, man. That's great. That'll probably carry you through getting your ass beat a couple times. But then
I feel like that's a good way to get injured, though.
Yeah, for
with
sure.
That kind of mindset of like, there are those guys that exist for sure. I would imagine like Nicky Rod doesn't go in some gym and consider himself to like suck. He's there and he's like,
right.
I'm gonna crush everybody here.
So I'm Nicky
But
Rod, bro.
Let's say
You're
like
not
for the
getting this.
average guy, they should probably have that mindset of like, I'm just gonna go in here and get crushed at some point.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
my goal is to have fun and learn, but it's impossible to win every round.
Impossible. I mean, fatigue will wear in at a certain point too for everybody. Like fatigue makes a coward out of anybody. So you're bound to get crushed by. Like I had a hard round with Tahila, one of the girls who trains here. She's a purple belt, and she gave me a hard round the other night. I was so exhausted from it was comp class from Wednesday night. Come to comp class if you want to get dog tired and win more matches. But she was all over me, and I'm dog tired. We had just done that King of the Hill, Shark Tank. Like it was like a combo between the two. I really liked it. I definitely recommend that style.
Yeah,
of
you got to
training if
switch
you
it
wanna
up
get
sometimes,
good.
right? Because everybody gets in that same, normal routine. Oh, we're doing comp class, we're doing this. So it's good to like switch it up and make it more difficult.
For
like
sure.
the goal is for everybody to get better and injuries to not occur. And that's what we focus on. So we try to use these positions where there's like less risk for people to get injured. That's why when we start those rounds, it's never like fully disengaged, because I feel like a lot of times when injuries happen, it's like freak things when both guys are not already locked up.
Right.
So if you can create a
scrambles.
scenario where you're already in a position, there's less risk for like some crazy scramble to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah, my least favorite person to roll with, you're talking about fatigue, gets to everybody are those guys that wait for you to be tired. You know, you like watch them. They're like rolling with the 100-pound woman,
Yeah,
like a
they're
60-pound kid, and they're like waiting for you to roll with the guy that's 250. And then right after that, they're like, "Hey, you want to roll?" Like,
Yeah,
no,
thanks,
I don't.
dude.
You go roll with that guy first and let me sit out, and then we'll roll.
Yeah,
together.
we can
Yeah.
roll, dude.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's only something you can
man.
do if you're a black belt. You know?
Yeah, you got the black belt privilege. I get in those guys' head, though. You know what I do? I stand up and I go, let's go early.
Yeah.
Even though I know I'm dog tired and like this guy might end up crushing me, I'm like, let's just go. Let's get this over with, man.
Maybe another good way to handle it would be let the guy crush you for that first round, and then when the timer goes off, go, let's keep going.
Let's do another one,
So
dude.
now he's exhausted, and you've rested. You know, sure, you're taking a beating somewhat, but as long as you're playing defensively, you know, you can like recover while you hear his breathing is like accelerated. And then you're like,
exactly.
Let's keep going through this round. Let's keep going.
I love hearing the breathing accelerate. I mean, especially after doing a lot more strength and conditioning, like I can take less of those rest periods and feel more energized.
Yeah.
So whenever guys are like starting to catch their breath, I've already caught my breath.
Yeah.
And I'm on to the next thing. You know, that human chess aspect definitely comes into
Yeah.
play, especially when it comes to fatigue.
That's something that I started doing a long time ago, and not necessarily because of like doing strength and conditioning, because I haven't always done that, but doing yoga and like learning how to breathe through that process allowed me to be in like a shitty position, bottom side control or mounted or something, and focus on just lowering my heart rate so that I could explode while the other guys, like, you hear them, you know, they're not breathing in any kind of like rhythm that could.
Yeah, it's like
Exactly. Yeah.
there's that hyperventilation. When I start to hear that, that's like my cue, you know, and that's definitely something that a wrestling mindset will teach you. Like any wrestling coach who idolized Dan Gable will tell you, as soon as that guy starts breathing heavy, that's your cue to go. Like that should fire you up in your own mind. Like when you hear them gasping for air, that's when you got to go.
Right.
Like right now. Like as soon as you hear that wheezing start, you keep the foot on the gas and you break this guy.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, that's about 45 minutes. This is our first podcast that we'll be dropping. We don't have any sponsors yet. We're looking for sponsors. If you have a company that you think would be a good sponsor for us, reach out. We're looking for anything. So
supplements, wellness, whatever.
Anything that you got, reach out to us. Drop a comment below. We'll be on YouTube. We'll be on any podcast platform. You can find us there. You can also look us up on social media. Instagram is @CorvoMA or @UncleTonyBJJ or
at DRamosBJJ on Instagram. Not the underscore, though, because that'll take you to Damon Ramos. He's really good, though, so you should drop him a follow, too. But take out that underscore, and it's all one, DRamosBJJ, and that's where you can find me.
All right. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
And that's a wrap for today's Kings of Kimuras episode. Thanks for joining us on this epic journey. Remember to keep training, stay curious, and always be ready for the next adventure. Until next time, keep your guards up and your minds open.